every one of us has been called to lead, meaning that all of us have got potential to lead. Hello, my name is Peter Kasidivu. I'm a pastor at Gaba Community Church and the founding leader at Africa Renewal Ministries. I'm a married man to one only Irene, and we have 4 children and very many adopted children. The Lord has blessed me in that I've been following and loving Jesus and a follower of Jesus for the last 44 years. This is a very exciting moment for me where I am in life, because over the years, I feel that God is calling me to actually serve God's people by sharing all the learnings that I've had in my journey with the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's the reason for the PK Leadership podcast, the very, very first podcast that we're bringing out. A few years ago, we feel that our message needs to go beyond us at Gaba Church and beyond the surroundings that we are in. So we felt that we needed to share. So PK Leadership is where we actually share what God has put on our hearts, where we invite other people to actually speak into that which God has called us to speak in. So that is why we are here today at PK Leadership Podcast. The inspiration behind the PK Leadership Podcast is that people are out there asking questions. How can I be a leader? People are out there asking themselves, whom can I ask these very pertinent questions? So that's the inspiration behind where we are. People are asking, we have the answers, and we know people who have the answers. There are leaders out there who are struggling to find answers to the questions of life. We have young men and women who are out there. They have a vision, they have a passion, but they are saying, who is going to lift my hand? So we felt that God has given us the resources, which happens to be social media, which happens to be the electronic way of communication. So we said, let us use this forum to be able to share that which God has put on our hearts, but also to invite as many other people who know to actually share with those who have got questions. So I'm very excited because PK Leadership is helping the young man out there, the young lady out there, the person who is founding a church, someone who is starting an organization, a ministry. We feel that God has put all the answers among us men and women. And because we know many of them, we are going to actually share these with you. And I can't wait to see what God will do in your heart and in my heart as we share these amazing treasures of leadership. The main theme of the podcast is actually transformational leadership. That's the best way to put it. What is transformational leadership? We're actually going to define it in the weeks coming, but the idea is this. God has called every man and every woman to make a difference in his community, in his life, but also among us, the people that they serve. And I know that many of us have got that potential, but not many of us have got the experience that it takes to get where we are supposed to go. So that's why we feel that we are going to use the learnings that we've learned along the way. I've been a pastor since 1988. I believe that many people are listening to me today. We are probably not yet born when we started out. I've been a leader of an organization called Africa Renewal Ministries since 1990. You're talking about 35 years. I've learned a lot. But not only that, I've interacted with leaders here in my country, Uganda, but around the world. So I would like to use this opportunity to share what we have learned along the way, because I know that God has called you and me to succeed in what we are doing. In my journey of life, I have made so many mistakes. And many of those I made not because I desired to make the mistakes, but because I didn't know. But as I shared with other men and leaders who have gone before me, they actually helped me out. So what are we going to do? We are going to share on this platform so that you will not make the mistakes that I made, that you will actually run faster than we ran, and at the end of the day, the world will be a better place because you're going to be a better leader, a better minister, a better husband, a better wife. That is the reason behind the podcast. We are going to cover many topics on this podcast because remember, it's going to be a weekly broadcast. Now, because it's a weekly podcast, we're going to cover many topics. One of them, as you already have found, I love leadership. Why? Because as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Actually, there's another man that I love very much. He's called Miles Monroe. He's gone on to be with the Lord. He said, if you think you're a leader, you actually need to look behind you. Are there people following? My goodness. If there are no people following, probably you're not a leader. But there is something else that Miles Monroe has always talked about. He has said that every one of us has been called to lead, meaning that all of us have got potential to lead. Because we have potential to lead, we actually need someone to give us a few principles of what it takes to lead, a few ideas on what it takes to lead. So on this podcast, we're going to share principles. We're going to share examples of great leadership. We're going to talk about mistakes that we leaders make. But again, as we talk about leadership, we're also going to talk about the life of a leader. I have found that leadership comes from the leader. If you are a great leader, it means that there is something in you and inside of you that makes you a great leader. So we're going to talk about the character of a leader. We're going to talk about the family life of a leader. We're going to talk about the spiritual life of the leader. I can't wait to share all this that we are learning along the way. Please sit still and get ready to walk a journey with us as we share on this amazing podcast. The beautiful thing about being a little bit old like I am, you happen to know a number of people. So along the way, I've had so many great friends, men and women who have done so well. So on this podcast, we're going to invite many of them and we're going to have conversations. We're going to have discussions. We're going to have question and answers. So get ready to hear from the best men and women who have done well. We're going to invite business leaders on this podcast. We're going to invite spiritual leaders on this podcast. We're going to invite educationists. We're going to invite managers of companies, leaders of organizations. We're going to invite pastors. We're going to invite people from different denominations. The idea is this, that God has stored leadership in the hearts of men. We are going to search them out and we're going to bring them, and I believe that they're going to be a blessing to you and to me. I can't wait to interview the best of the best. But not only that, we're going to invite people who are going to share their stories of where they failed and how God helped them to pick up the pieces along the way. Because all of us have got journeys. I have mine, you have yours, and you may say, I'm the only one who has done this mistake. No, 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 no. There are so many people out there who have actually done even worse mistakes than you've done. And the Lord has helped them and has picked them out. Because of what they've learned, we are going to learn from them. I am excited at what God has for us at the PK Leadership. You know what? The purpose of leadership is transformation. So many people love to hear, they love to listen. Some people love to laugh, some people love to be entertained. But I have to say this, my desire, my prayer, is that what you learn, you go on and use it in your ministry, in your church, in your home, in your business. So my desire and our desire is that whatever you learn, you will go on and use it to actually make your ministry better or make your life better. So my desire is there will be a change, because the purpose of leadership is for change. That you do better and you not make the mistakes that you did before. That you will run instead of walking. That's my whole desire about this. That's why we use the word transformation all the time, because transformation is about change. So my desire and my prayer is that whatever you learn will actually change the way you think, the way you do life, and that the people you lead will say, my leader, my pastor is a better man. My hope is this, that you will be a better man, you'll be a better woman. My desire is that you will change, because friends, listening without changing does not help anyone. I would like to see you a changed man and a changed woman. But not only that, this has been my experience over the years. I've found that the greatest joy I have is that I've touched someone, I've invested in someone, and that person has been made better. So my desire is that you will be inspired, you'll be encouraged, you will change, and then you turn around and invest your learning in someone, somewhere, in that young man, in that young woman, in that couple, in your church, in that family, by inspiring them and helping them to change. Then we will be agents of transformation. That's my prayer, that's my desire.